House 2017 to 2021 term, the relationship between the United States and Canada faced many. Instead of choosing the neighboring country for his first official visit like his predecessors, Trump chose Saudi Arabia. While demanding renegotiation of the North American Free Trade Agreement and imposing tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel, escalating tensions between the two. However, this relationship has warmed since President Joe Biden took office, as he held his first official meeting with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and affirmed Canada as a close friend, expressing a desire to cooperate in many important areas, including responding to the COVID-19 pandemic. These positive signs suggest potential for deeper cooperation in the future and even the possibility of unification between the two countries, as economic and political interdependence grows stronger. Let's explore in today. The world's largest superpower. Currently, both Canada and the United States are among the world's top countries in area, ranking second and third respectively, behind only Russia. Therefore, if these two countries merge, they would form a superpower with an area of 19,818,190 square kilometers, becoming the largest country in the world. On land, the unified country would have a 3,145 kilometers border with Mexico, while at sea it would border all three major oceans, the Pacific, Atlantic, and Arctic, and possess the world's longest coastline at 222,000 kilometers. More importantly, this unification would help both sides resolve long-standing issues regarding the Northwest Passage, with Canada declaring it as internal waters, while the U.S. considers it international waters and allows freedom of navigation under international. Specifically, this is a sea route allowing transportation from the North Atlantic through the Davis Strait between Canada and Greenland, then continuing through the Arctic archipelago, then to level 4 sea via the Chukchi Sea and the Bering Strait to enter the North Pacific region. The effects of climate change causing ice in the Arctic Ocean to melt had made this route emerge as a viable alternative, with the advantage of being shorter and more optimal than traditional shipping routes connecting the Atlantic and Pacific, namely the Panama Canal and Suez. Additionally, current global conflicts involving Russia may lead some countries to avoid using Russia's northern sea route in the near future. In Canada. This opens up new business opportunities not only related to the region's oil or gas resources but also iron ore, diamonds, gold, and fisheries. On the other hand, building deep water ports and road infrastructure serves not only rescue purposes but also military defense. Therefore, when managed by the unified government of the US and Canada, this would pose a direct threat to Russia's economic and geostrategic interests. Siberia and the US. Thus, Alaska holds great importance for the new unified states' military strategies in the Pacific. Additionally, since North America and Siberia are only about 3,400 kilometers apart via the shortest route over the Arctic Ocean, Russia could use this trajectory to launch missiles faster and reduce early warning capabilities. Thus, if the US and Canada unite, this area would easily receive investment to build more connecting routes, rather than having only the Alaska Highway as currently. On the other hand, missile defense systems will be strengthened, along with upgrades and expansions of military bases here. The unified country would also have the fourth highest number of islands in the world, behind only Norway, Sweden, and Finland, with 71,072 islands, of which 10,260 are inhabited. With an area of 507,451 square kilometers, Baffin Island is the largest island by area and has a population of about 13,000. In the south of this island is Neveling Lake, the world's largest lake on an island, and the 30th largest in the world by area, at 5,542 square kilometers. Moreover, it is also the 11th largest lake in Canada and one of the largest lakes entirely within the country's territory. The south of this island also has mineral resources, especially in the Lake Peninsula and the Kimberlite province, Gigliac, with volcanic pipes containing kimberlite rock. This is the primary material for producing irons. Additionally, the Mary River Iron Ore Mine began operations in 2015 and shipped 4.2 million tons of iron ore in 2023. On the other hand, with a population of 8.06 million in 2020, accounting for 40% of New York State's total population. Long Island would be. It is also the third most populous island in the Americas after Hispaniola and Cuba, and the 18th most populous island in the world. With an area of 3,629 square kilometers, the population density on this island will reach nearly 2,000. In the economic sector, Long Island also plays an important role in connecting transportation and economy with New York, thanks to its strategic location near the Atlantic coast and the development of major transportation infrastructure. As a commercial aviation hub, it has two of the busiest airports in the New York metropolitan area, specifically in the U.S. in general. These are JFK International Airport and LaGuardia Airport. Also located on Long Island is the Harbor Airport, an important center for domestic flights serving the New York area. Along with two major air traffic control radar facilities, New York Trackin and New York AR. And most importantly, upon unification, the new country will surpass Russia to become the world's second largest renewable fresh, behind only Brazil, with an estimated total freshwater volume of about 5,900. This means the new country will control about 26% of global freshwater resources and account for about 10% of the world's renewable freshwater. This would create a huge advantage in agricultural development and promote sustainable economic growth in the region. Specifically, besides the Great Lakes region, the main water sources in the U.S. come from rivers like the Mississippi, Missouri, while in Canada it's primarily freshwater lakes, with about 2 million lakes, and about 7.6% of its nearly 10 billion square kilometers is covered by freshwater. Even these lakes and rivers contain enough water to flood the entire territory to a depth of over 2 meters. That surface area is covered by lakes, accounting for over 50% of the world. With one of the world's largest renewable freshwater resources, Canada has an average annual water production of 3,470 million cubic meters, ranking third globally, behind only Brazil and Russia. This country also needs in renewable freshwater per capita per year at 109,837 cubic meters, significantly higher than Brazil's 43,756 cubic meters. If the United States and Canada merged, the Great Lakes would be managed by a unified government. This is the world's largest group of freshwater lakes with a total area of 244,106 square kilometers, nearly the size of the United Kingdom, and second in total volume at 22,600 billion cubic meters. They account for 21% of the world's surface freshwater by volume, slightly less than Lake Baikal. These large lakes are interconnected, including Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, and Ontario, forming a basin of approximately 521,830 square kilometers, nearly the area. By surface area, Lake Superior is the largest freshwater lake at 82,100 square kilometers. These lakes form a connection between the North American interior and the Atlantic Ocean. Starting from the interior to the St. Lawrence River estuary, with flow from Lake Superior to Huron and Michigan, then south to Lake Erie, and finally north to Lake Ontario. They serve as drainage for a vast basin through numerous rivers and contain about 35,000 islands. In addition, the basin has thousands of smaller lakes, often called inlet lakes, forming the foundation for economic and ecological development. Abundant water resources also help the new country develop hydropower with a total installed capacity of 184,000 megawatts, surpassing Brazil and ranking second in the world. In the United States, one of the largest hydropower plants is Grand Coulee, with a capacity of 6,810 megawatts on the Columbia River in Washington. Canada has two major hydropower plants, including Robert Bourassa, with a capacity of 5,600 megawatts on the Labrador River in northern Quebec. This is the world's largest underground power plant, along with Churchill Falls on the Churchill River in Newfoundland and Labrador, with a capacity of 5,400 megawatts, which is the second largest hydropower plant. Both countries also share decarbonization goals, with Canada aiming for an emission-free electricity system by 2035, while the United States strives for 100% emission-free electricity. This cooperation is crucial in hydropower development, Canada's main renewable energy source, accounting for about 60% of total electricity. Therefore, enhancing grid connectivity between the two countries will help the United States utilize abundant hydropower from Canada, contributing to accelerating the trend. As a result, water scarcity issues in the United States. Additionally, the merger will not only enable more efficient water management and distribution, but also create opportunities for the new country to develop protecting precious water resources and ensuring future water security. If the United States and Canada unified, the new country would have a population of 375 million, ranking third in the world by population. But with a vast territory, the population density would be only about 19 people per square, among the lowest globally. Simultaneously, the demographic, ethnic, and religious landscape would change significantly, becoming more diverse and rich. The combined population of the two countries forms a large community with cultural blending. Specifically, Americans primarily have origins from Europe, Africa, Latin America, and Asia, while Canadians have a high proportion of European descent along with large immigrant communities from Asia and other regions. In that case, white people would constitute the majority at 60.4%, followed by Latinos at 17.1%, then Black people at 11.7%, Asians at 8.3%, other ethnic groups at 1.4%, and indigenous peoples at 1.1%. Regarding religion, Christianity remains dominant in both countries.
The merger could create a country more diverse in ethnicity and religion,
contributing to cultural and social enrichment. Specifically, Protestantism accounts for the highest proportion at 31.8%, followed by the atheist group at 23.3%. Catholicism accounts for 22.8%. Next are other branches of Christianity at 10%. Other religions account for 8.4%, Judaism 1.9%, Islam 1.7%. If merged, English will be the main language of the new nation as it is the most widely used in both countries, with over 77.5% of the US population and 75% of Canada's. When these two countries merge, it is highly likely they will operate under a federal model. Canada and the United States will have high autonomy in the new state, so the current capitals of both countries are unlikely to become the new capital. Instead, candidates will be in more suitable locations. The first candidate is Chicago.
Located on the shore of Lake Michigan, established as a city in 1837.
Its metropolitan area covers 28,120 square kilometers, often referred to as Chicagoland. It has 9,442,000 residents with a density of nearly 336 people per square kilometer. Chicago also has the third largest metropolitan GDP in the US at $832.9 billion, and a per capita GDP of about $88,230. The city is rated as having the most balanced economy in the country due to its high level of diversification. Additionally, it is also a major global financial center, with the second largest central business district in the U.S. after Midtown Manhattan. Moreover, the city of Chicago and its surrounding metropolitan area have the third largest workforce in the U.S. with approximately 4.63 million. It is also home to the headquarters of 12 Fortune Global 500 companies and 17 Financial Times 500 companies. Another prominent city is Toronto. With an area of nearly 7,124 square kilometers, its population reaches 6,712,000 with a density of 942 people per square.
Within the city limits, it is the most populous city in Canada,
with a population of about 2,794,000 and also the fourth most populous city. In manufacturing, the Greater Toronto Area produces over half of Canada's manufactured goods, with a GDP growth rate of 2.4% annually since 2009, exceeding the national average. As of 2020, its metropolitan GDP was $430.9 billion, accounting for 21%, with a per capita GDP of $64,198.
In finance, the city hosts the Toronto Stock Exchange
and the headquarters of Canada's 5 largest banks, along with many domestic and multinational corporations. Toronto is also the third largest technology hub in North America, after Silicon Valley and New York City. Furthermore, its strategic location along the Quebec-Windsor corridor and the Great Lakes megalopolis further solidifies the city's role as a key economic center. This corridor connects major cities and key manufacturing areas,
facilitating trade and economic development.
Additionally, the completion of the St. Lawrence Seaway in 1959 opened new opportunities for maritime transport, allowing ships to access the Great Lakes from the Atlantic Ocean. This not only enhanced the ability to transport goods,
but also promoted the development of industries around Toronto. The city's road and rail connections also play a crucial role,
in supporting the production of items such as motor vehicles, iron, steel, food, machinery, chemicals, thanks to connections with nearby major manufacturing areas. This helps Toronto not only maintain its status as an economic center, but also as a key transportation hub in the North American logistics hub. Another candidate for the capital is the city of Winnipeg, located at the geographic center of North America. It is an ideal choice to become the capital of a merged nation between the United States and Canada. Thanks to its strategic location, it will effectively connect the country's east and west coast, facilitating national management and operation. This city is located quite close to Lake Winnipeg, the 11th largest freshwater lake in the world,
along with 4 major rivers:
Red, Assiniboine, LaSalle, and Seine. Its urban area covers 5,285 square kilometers with a population of approximately 834,678 people. It is also an economic and regional center, with a GDP of $45 billion United States dollars and a per capita GDP of $53,000. The city has a diverse economy, with a healthcare and social assistance sector accounting for 14% of employment, retail 11%, manufacturing 8%, and public administration 8%.
In the southeast of the city is the Royal Canadian Mint.
Established in 1976, it produces all circulating coins in Canada, as well as coins from many other countries. More importantly, Winnipeg is also known as the gateway to the West, as it is the largest city in Manitoba with the best transportation connections, with highways running in all directions,
and is a major railway hub. The city also has James Armstrong Richardson International Airport,
also known as Winnipeg International Airport. It is the 7th busiest airport in Canada in terms of passengers, serving 4,094,793 passengers in 2023,
and the 11th busiest in terms of aircraft movements.
Additionally, it is a key transportation hub in Manitoba, serving as the primary airport for a large geographical area, with daily direct flights to many destinations across Canada, as well as the United States, Mexico, and the Caribbean. It also serves many remote small communities in northern Manitoba,
northwestern Ontario, and Nunavut.
5 kilometers from Winnipeg International Airport is Centerport, Canada, and inland. It covers an area of 81 square kilometers and is located near the center of the,
making it a hub for national and international trade corridors,
as well as attracting new transportation logistics development to the city area. It is a multimodal inland port and the largest foreign trade zone in North America, providing access to all 3 modes of transportation, including rail, air, and road. Furthermore, the city of Winnipeg has direct connections to both of Canada's main
Port of Vancouver and Port of Prince Rupert,
as well as direct connections to the town of Churchill in Manitoba, a major grain export facility and Canada's only Arctic deep water port. Thanks to well-developed transportation conditions and along with favorable geographical location and this city has become an ideal choice for the capital. The Invincible Economic Union. Currently, both the United States and Canada are among the world's leading developed economies. If merged, the gross domestic product will be $29.5 trillion, accounting for 27.2% of global GDP and a per capita GDP of $78,600. Additionally, the labor market will become more flexible, with expanded job opportunities and better human resource coordination,
as both have been each other's largest trading partners for decades.
By 2023, nearly $2.7 billion United States dollars worth of goods and services, with two-way trade across the Ambassador Bridge between Michigan and Ontario alone, equivalent to all U.S. exports to Japan. If the 2 North American countries succeed, they would be able to self-supply many resources, including energy, minerals, and agricultural products, even under sanctions. In the agricultural sector, with vast land area and abundant water resources, the unified country would produce massive agricultural output, sufficient to and compete with other countries in the export market. Currently, Canada is one of the world's largest agricultural suppliers,
notably wheat and other grains,
while the United States stands out with fruits, oilseeds, rice, and wheat. Thus, when unified, the 2 countries would have a world-leading agriculture sector worth $212 billion. This figure is nearly equivalent to that of the Netherlands, Germany, France. Notably, the new country would possess natural resources worth $78.2 trillion, surpassing even Russia's 75 trillion. These include important minerals such as copper, gold, nickel, and lithium. These are all essential resources for heavy industry and modern technology. This country would also become a leading coal producer, with the world's largest confirmed coal reserves, reaching 455 billion tons, accounting for 27.6%. Additionally, the unified country would possess a massive. In 2022, Canada's mines produced 16.2 million carats of diamonds, worth $1.9 billion, thereby becoming the world's third largest diamond in terms of both value and volume. On the other hand, Canada, together with Russia, Botswana, the Democratic Republic, produced over 82.5% of global diamonds. Furthermore, the uranium mining industry in the United States produced 101 of uranium oxide in 2023. While Canada has the fourth largest uranium reserves, and is the world's second largest uranium producer, accounting for approximately 15%. This is thanks to the McArthur River and Seagull Lake mines in northern Saskatchewan province. These are two of the world's largest uranium mines in terms of production. These mines also have the highest quality uranium, with concentrations 10 to 100 times higher than the global average. Thanks to abundant uranium resources, combined with high technology, this would help us power reserve and self-produce large nuclear energy resources for the energy industry or weapons production.
Most importantly, if the United States and Canada merge,
the new country's petroleum supply would increase, significantly altering the global oil balance. Here, Canada currently has the world's third largest oil reserves, after only Venezuela and Saudi Arabia, with approximately 170 billion barrels, accounting for about 13%. When combined with the United States' 48.3 billion barrels, the new country would have reserves of up to 218.3 billion.
The United States also has the world's largest oil production,
producing over 13.3 million barrels per day. Thus, the unified country would produce 18.26 million barrels, accounting for approximately 22% of global, and become an energy superpower. In 2023, the United States imported about 8.51 million barrels of oil per day from 86 countries.
Therefore, with abundant oil supply,
it would increase pressure on the international, causing oil prices to fall, then affecting other major exporters. This would alter the dynamics and balance of power among OPEC countries. Therefore, if a plan to merge the United States and Canada, the world might witness the emergence of a comprehensive superpower, encompassing economy, resources, and international influence, especially with a massive defense budget, and the world's most advanced military of the United States. Combined with Canada's developed capability to operate in harsh geographic, this power would be superior not only in scale, but also in flexibility and strategy. The long coastline and advanced naval forces of both countries would create significant influence on global ocean,
from the Arctic to the Pacific.
While the United States has a major advantage in space warfare, Canada also has experience in international space projects, such as cooperation with NASA. When combined, this force would enhance space surveillance and missile defense, thereby creating a significant strategic. Simultaneously, this merger could strengthen the power of the Western Bloc, particularly in relations with rival countries like China and Russia. However, the rise of a new superpower might cause concern among other nations, and lead to the formation of new strategic alliances to counter North America's growing influence. Moreover, a unified government would also face complex challenge in balancing two separate political systems,
as parliamentary model in the United States.
In addition, social policies, environmental regulations, and defense strategies also need,
especially when the two countries have different approaches to global issues.
That is the idea of a unified nation between the United States and Canada.
What are your thoughts on this merger?
Please leave a comment within 5 minutes for everyone to know.